How you doing, everybody? Welcome to my live program or live broadcast, and this should have happened since 5 p.m., which was it's about 2 hours ago, and we had technical difficulties. I want to thank you for your patience. Those of you who came to Instagram to ask me what's happening and all of that, we had power issues, which has been resolved, and as we continue to have more live broadcasts, we're going to get better, making sure that we have several contingency plans so that if things don't work as planned, we'll still have a backup and then we can still start at the time that we said we will start. So let me give a few shout outs to people. Okpemikpo Atonda, how you doing? Good evening. Moroccan, your princess, the devil indeed has failed. I see you. Fade, how you doing? Oh, you see the glow. Glory be to God. Okay. Atilola Ifeoluwa, how you doing? Samuel Abua, hi. How you doing? Dekamsi Young, which happens to be one of my most regular. I'm saying this so that you know that I appreciate you. Regular people on this broadcast, well done. Zipporah, well done. How you doing? Olatunji Esther, how you doing? Paul Ayeni, how you doing? So that's that. What are we talking about today? We called it Reason with Me. In case you don't know how we got that title, there's a song by Don Moen. I'm just joking. It's not Don Moen. It's actually a secular artist called Rude Boy. All right, that the song goes, he's talking to a lady. I beg you, reason with me. If I don't have today, I will have tomorrow. This is the English version. The song was actually done in pidgin English. All right. If I no get today, I go get tomorrow, which is actually what he says. So the idea of that statement is maybe the scenario that that statement paints is a scenario where someone is in love with a lady or vice versa, and there's no money involved. So, well, we want to go forward, but we don't have money. So, what do we do? And this is a very timely message because Valentine is coming. You know, where is your, anyways. So, and I know many of you are in situationships or relationships, and you just want to have a sense of direction. Like, yeah, we like each other, but it's going to have to take more. Are we sure that we can go on with this? Can I start a family with you? And all of that. So we want to take some time to talk about that. And I want to start by just attacking two extremes when it comes to this subject. I'll start by attacking two extremes and then we move on from there. The first thing I want to say is don't marry by faith. Yeah, you heard what I said. Don't marry by faith. You see, you can start a ministry by faith, but not a home. All right? When you want to preach the message of Jesus Christ, basically all that you need is the message of the gospel. Just go around, tell people about Jesus, what he has done, work miracles, and guess what? Your following is going to grow and increase. I mean, we have biblical precedents for this. Jesus said to his disciples, when I sent you without pause or script lack you anything? And they said nothing. But when it comes to raising a family, and that's not to say that you cannot use your faith or you shouldn't use your faith as someone who wants to marry, but there is a practical approach to marriage. All right, there are some things that must be on ground, ready before you think about, marriage. When it comes to a home, it takes money to pay house rent. It takes money to raise children, to send them to a good school. It takes money to do all those things. And even if you want to be so blinded by love, romance, and all of that, guess what? The parents, the loved ones of the lady or of the guy will not allow you. They're going to fight you. Because generally speaking, there should be some form of stability before you decide to carry someone's burdens or share anyone's burdens. In fact, I was talking to someone I call my YouTube director, Shola Olaleye, and then he reminded me of, or he told me about a very popular meme, a popular joke when it comes to this topic that says, even in the Bible, the book of Job comes before the book of Romance, meaning you should get a job before you want romance. Hey, you know. And that's so funny, but so profound at the same time, you know. And of course, I'm sure you know the book of Job doesn't actually mean job. And romance are different, even the pronunciation, you know. But it does make sense because, you see, marriage is sort of a business decision, meaning it's capital intensive. Trust me, as someone raising 2 kids, capital intensive. Good schools are expensive. And then if God blesses you with the kind of children that He gave me, especially the first one, you see, Nadia, Nadia, forget the name, the Twitch name, she's kind of raz. So Nadia can eat anything. But Edima, right from when she was a child, he was always picky. In fact, at some point as a child, the only meal she liked was this, I think it's called Purity. That's the name of the, it's like a paste, all right? And it was 900 naira per bottle. And she gets to eat it just twice. You know, a small bottle. And that was the only thing she was eating. And you have to choose between her not eating at all or not taking Purity. You know, and so raising children is so expensive. So, well, you don't raise children, you don't marry by faith, all right? You got to have something on ground. On the other hand, you don't marry for money. Marriage is not a career plan. It's not a business plan, all right? And you don't marry for social status also, all right? Many people have unfriendly friends that they cannot even be themselves around, friends that they cannot even be vulnerable around. So they have to pretend to be richer than they are, to break their backs to create an impression. And so their relationship choices is also part of their status symbol. Get out of that kind of friendship, all right, immediately. Don't marry for your friends. And of course, if you have good friends, you should care what your friends say. But if you have friends who only are concerned about the appearance of wealth, there's an English word for that. It's a bamicidal approach to life. You know, the illusion of plenty. There are some people, that's a perspective to life. Fake it, even if you haven't made it, kind of perspective. And that's going to put you in trouble. Because guess what? It doesn't matter how popular this culture is. You don't marry, all right, for money. And this works both ways, both for guys and girls. Make no mistake, there are some guys who are after some ladies just because of their money. All right, and that's very embarrassing. That's very terrible. And ladies shouldn't be after some guys just because of their money. And so, all I'm saying is this. The proper approach to a topic like this will be the balance of both viewpoints. On one hand, you don't marry by faith, but on the other hand, you don't marry because of money. All right. So, and the Bible is keen on both ideas. You know, the Bible says that a man who does not work should also not eat. The Bible also says that anyone who cannot cater for his household is worse than an infidel, has denied the faith. You know, so this is such a serious subject. You should be ready and able to be responsible before you bring someone on the. Forget the movies, all right? Love is a serious game. And whilst you're still imagining the Indian tunes in your head, playing to the music of your romance, by the time you get together and before you know it, you have a child and you have to pay bills and I mean heavy bills, then you will know that it's not a game. The movies lied. Okay? It's serious business. It's a business decision. All right? So you have to be ready to put in the work. It's beyond the butterflies. The picture of love is not just butterflies. It's hammer, like hard labor, work. Marriage is the hardest thing I've ever done. And that's a huge statement for someone who has planted as many churches as I have. I don't consider planting churches easier than being married. And that's upon the fact that I have a great wife. so if you want to joke about this, you're going to see yourself. And then, of course, the Bible also has something to say about contentment. In Luke chapter 12, verse 15, a man's life does not consist in the abundance of the things that he possesses. Take heed, beware of covetousness. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of the things that he possesses. And so your love should not also be just about the abundance of the things that a man possesses. Let me tell you something. I've been old enough to see that the present is never a predictable prophecy of the future. Some of you know what I'm saying. The guys who were the reigning guys, the girls who were the reigning girls in secondary school, and the guys who are actually reigning now, and the girls that are actually reigning now, they're totally different. In most cases, many of the people, that were rocking the entire boarding house and were the subject of every gossip, every conversation, they don't really look like what they were promising to look like at the time. Do you understand? And so we have to be very careful in our assessment of the present. This is so profound. How many of you were head over heels in love with someone some years ago, and now you want to slap yourself like, was I crazy? And now remember that the next time you think you have it absolutely figured out, when you want to make your decisions, maybe you just need to still slow down and examine things. Because you know what? The Bible says that money can develop wings and fly away. I've seen people who had at least the appearance of wealth have nothing few years later. And I've seen people who no one really, considered to be anything extraordinary, and their life changes. Listen, God can change lives. Oh, be very, very careful. In this life, what you say about people, how you treat people and all of that, it's very important. I had a dinner 2 days ago, thereabout. And some people were talking, and I received a very nice compliment that got me thinking. Someone who is not even a member of our church says, every week I look forward to seeing what you wore on Sunday. And, that was quite an interesting statement. So I'm just like, now all of a sudden, I'm sort of a fashion statement. That's cool. And it might be hard for you to imagine, but just few years ago, nobody would have thought. Do you understand? Or only few people would have thought. You get. So you have to understand that if you judge based on the present and based on people's possessions, and this works, like I've said many times in this conversation, for both male and female, you just might make a mistake. You can never, from a normal intellectual standpoint, judge absolutely the future of anybody just by the ephemerals of the present. Oh, he has money today, so you have more money in the future. It doesn't really work that way. There are deeper things. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't make intelligent predictions. If I didn't think we could make intelligent predictions, we won't have these broadcasts. But you have to be careful. And so here's my suggestion. It has to, your choice, when it all comes down to it, should have to be beyond, let me use the word potential. It has to be deeper than that. You might consider the wedding vows in most weddings, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. You may consider it extreme because you're a person of faith. But when it all comes down to it, I feel like the essence of love is this. I'm not just getting married to you for when it's convenient. When it's tough, I'll be here. When it's great, I'll be here. I choose you, and it's that simple. So on one hand, I'm not going to marry like an idiot. I'm going to make a smart choice because there are basic requirements before you choose to get married. You should at least be able to put food on the table, shelter, clothing, and all of that, raise children and all of that. But at the same time, I don't want to have a superficial emotional attachment to anybody. So it is beyond potential because, after all, you know what people say, no condition is permanent. And faith people don't like to hear this. All right. But life is full of ups and downs. And as people of faith, we believe that at the end we always win. But life is full of ups and downs. I finished from class years ago when I was studying for my MBA. And I gave a lady a lift, a married woman, and some other people. And so we're talking in the car. And we just talked about money in marriage and all of that. And then she just spoke her mind in the most honest, brutally honest manner I've ever heard. And she said, that if her husband does not have money again, what is she doing in the marriage? That she's going to leave him. That what is left? And we thought she was joking. We're like, stop talking like that. She said, I'm not joking. If my husband doesn't have money, what am I doing? And so it's sad that many people have this idea, like they will only want to commit when it's convenient. And let me say this, people can smell that from a mile away. And there are different types of people. There are people who just want to lynch on your resources, and there are some other people who want to actually build with you. So you should be looking for someone who wants to build with you. Okay? The second thing I want to talk about is this. Even though, your marital choice or relationship choice should be beyond potential, like I just said, yet potential is not enough. I'm doing a lot of balancing here. Potential is not enough. Someone gave a brilliant illustration, and he said, a lot of us listening to this have the potential to lead a Fortune 500 company. But if you go now and apply to those companies, maybe you're not qualified yet, though you have the potential. And so even companies have standards that we're not just choosing people based on potential, but based on qualification. And so never apologize for having standards and qualifications, before you choose who you want to spend the rest of your life with. Yeah, you have the potential to be a very, loving husband who can raise his children, send them to schools and all of that. But do you have the requisite training and preparation for it? That's the real question. All right, that's the real question. Because when it all comes down to it, it takes more than potential. You have to see more than potential. Whoever you want to spend the rest of your life with must show you more than potential, must show you something practical. If it's a talent, must show you that talent is actually has commercial value. Not that you sing in the bathroom and, it's so sonorous. It has to be more than that. People have to be willing to pay to hear you sing and must have paid once or twice or 5 times. Okay, this is important. And if you are not yet at that point, whilst you are nursing a career in music, for instance, maybe you should get a job on the side. Can I tell you something? You should be ready to take practical steps. Practical steps. All right. so that you can have something on ground. So on one hand, yeah, he or she has potential and you believe in he or she, but it takes more than that. You have to see heart, you have to see tenacity, you have to see hard work, you have to see someone who is ready to get his tires to meet the road, all right, who is taking active steps towards his dreams or her dreams. You have to have a compelling dream in life. I'm saying all of this because I definitely didn't really look the way I look now, not in terms of physical appearance. And maybe that might also be true, you know. But when I was asking my wife out, I didn't have a car at the time. Eventually, my mom gave me her Sienna. And anyway, I don't want to talk about that Sienna. Very great car. Saved me a great deal in ministry. I've said it jokingly. When I'm receiving my final reward from Jesus in ministry, the Sienna will stand beside me because it was with me through thick and thin. It has suffered for Jesus. Believe you me, you know, you know. But having said that, so how did she know that she could spend the rest of her life with me? First and foremost, like I already said, it was beyond potential. And I believe that God blessed me with a woman who is very content. I was never under pressure, and this is no slight to people who are high maintenance. But I just want to say that it was a great blessing to me as someone whose vision needed some time to manifest, to have a woman, who was ready to go through the process. It was such a great blessing, so it was beyond potential, and we had very, very funny experiences. My wife was very bright in school, so she had the second best result in her class, and all those students that the lecturers are expecting a lot from in life. So as we were about to graduate, the lecturer saw both of us walking around, because she came to our department to do something and I was with her. She was in 500 level, I was in 400 level, but her course just required 4 years, mine 5. And so he looked at me with disdain. And he just called her name and said, "I want to see you." And he told me to stand outside. And began to tell her, who are you? What are you doing with that boy? Is this what you want to do with your life? What does it do? Say, he has a call to ministry. Okay, so with all your gifts, you want to sacrifice everything and be following this, and all of that. And a lot of people, well-meaning people, actually try to discourage her, And so first and foremost for her, it was beyond potential. If I wasn't doing as great, I have no doubt that my wife will still be content and will still be supportive. But at the same time, she wasn't marrying my dreams. She was marrying my decisions. I think I learned that from, that should have been Pastor Kingsley, So there were decisions. Listen, even if you've not had the opportunity to execute your big dreams, there should be smaller things you've done in the past that show consistency, that show seriousness, and things that people can bank on concerning your future. You have a consistent character. You are a finisher, and you can keep your word. You can stay committed to a dream and see it manifest. Those are the ways you can help people actually walk towards, actually believe in you and walk with you. So that's also important. Another thing I want to say is this. Yeah, on one hand, if Mr. Potential is giving you signs that based on his past decisions that things are going to manifest in the future, you must however bear in mind that the timing also must make sense. It's not enough to know that your potential will manifest. I want to know how long it will take. And because whether you like it or not, okay, let me put it this way. Let me give you a scenario. And this scenario has played out 1,000 times. So you are in school with someone, you're reading together, going to lectures together, and then you fall in love in the same class. And you start dating. And then you graduate together. Now it's all nice and sweet and emotional. You want to spend the rest of your life together. You've imagined what your children will look like and all of that. But now there is the reality of life, maybe not necessarily the reality of life, but the reality of social culture and social construct. When a man and a woman graduate the same time, socially, I'm not saying this is a logical fact, but statistically, women are more ready to marry than men. In fact, most women, they embrace the idea of getting married 1 year, 2 years after graduation. For many people, that's their expectation, in fact. But the guy who just finished from school, all he's thinking about is overwhelmed with the fact that, hey, my life is just starting, and chances are that marriage is the last thing on his mind. And so even though they've bonded emotionally, now you are faced with the practical reality. Like, how do I get ready? Because a lady is ready to move on, but a guy is just starting, and that's why practically it looks like ladies usually end up with guys who are maybe 4 years older, 3 years older, thereabout. The guy must have gone ahead, had some things established and all of that. Because even emotionally, ladies are more mature than men. Or at least they have a better picture of their future sometimes. I don't really want to talk about that now. So there is that. So the timing, does it add up? This is a question you have to ask yourself. How much time do I have? It doesn't mean I don't believe in you, but can it work for both of us? So if you have 10 years before you step into the manifestation of your dreams, but as a lady, I'm already 30, is that going to work? So whilst you're waiting for this big grand manifestation, are you ready to do something now that can at least put a roof over our head, food on the table, and then we can talk and move on? So the timing must also make sense. That's very important. And another important, maybe call it a balance to this, is, so what I'm doing is I'm just giving you different perspectives. So if you fall into any of these categories, these conversations will help you make intelligent decisions. Another thing you need to realize is you cannot be you cannot both be Mr. and Mrs. Potential. One of you has to at least have something going. Do you understand? This is so important. So let me use myself as an example. And you know what? Do me a favor. After this live broadcast, send my wife a DM and tell her I love her and tell her thank you. All right? This is actually very serious, because when I actually started in ministry, especially when I had to resign my job to start, and church could only pay me 50K at the time, I depended on her job, which was also not a high-paying job, but we needed it. We needed that job dearly, desperately. In fact, I think when she told me she wanted to resign, I said, pray. Which was a little one-sided, because when I wanted to resign, she supported me and all of that, but it just gave us some stability. So, well, you say, I'm speaking from her standpoint. Oh, you say you have a call to ministry. Well, I'm going to focus on career, and then we balance things up, and then when things get better, you can move on from that. So I think that's a very smart idea to have. And it's also a very good place to practice feminism. So because I don't know why I'm laughing, I'm sorry. Don't take offense. But I'm just saying, when you're thinking of feminism, this is a good place to practice it. Like when you're thinking of potential, a lot of people, their mind goes to the guy, forgetting that the lady can actually be the breadwinner. Trust me, a lot of guys don't mind. If you're the first black female vice president of the United States, what am I doing? What am I doing? I will now go to office. Why? Who will look after the children? Who will look after the children? So there is there is there is that aspect to these things too. So, and it's also a very sensitive aspect that a lot of people don't talk about. But the thing is, if the grace is on your woman, support her. Let her fly. Let her fly. It's a big irony that many people marry purposeful people and slide out of purpose. It's a big irony. But let her fly also. But it's just a very wonderful balance. So both, as a couple, you can plan together. So if you are in a building financial process stage, then one of us has to be stable. Okay? Someone says first husband with pride. With pride. Okay. So I believe I've already shared some thoughts that will really help you. But I just want to say this. How then can I know what potential is worth banking on? How do I know the person I can trust with my life, and choose to stand by him or her and support? How do I know? I'll just mention 4 things. 4 things to look out for. Number 1, the person has to be great with relationships. Of course, I'm not talking about romantic relationships, but with people. Let me say this. You might not see it in many business books, but one of the most important principles of success in life is learning to forge and foster the right relationships. You have to learn to build networks with people, and not even to take advantage of what they have, but to add to what they have. You have to see yourself as a resourceful person. People have to. So you ask yourself, do people see this guy, this lady, as someone who is resourceful, as someone they want to work with, do business with, or they just want to involve in things that are good? So when you see that at work in that person, because when it all comes down to it, I don't care how many books on financial systems you've read, the reality of the situation is about 3% of the world's people control 90% of the world's wealth. And guess what? That wealth is going to move down their family. And their family members are not going to be rich because they read 7 Secrets to Wealth, but because of relationship. So relationship is one very crucial factor in wealth generation. What I just said, as simple as that is, it will change your life. So when you are lots, the most important business skill you need is serving Abraham. So is the person someone who has learned loyalty, service? People can look up to the person and say, you have my back. And you take relationships seriously, and that leads me to the next point: hard work. If the person is hard working, so if the person does not really have much now, but you can see that consistent effort, that compelling dream, that desire to be better, to get stuff done, to put food on the table. When you see that, that's something you can bank on. And then you must see precedence. Because no matter the talent you have to kill Goliath, if you have not killed the lion and the bear, no one is going to let you kill. Even if oil is on your head, you're going to need precedence. All right. And you can actually judge the future to a large extent, even if that's not all there is to it, and that's why I'm giving you other points. But the past, the decisions of the past, all right, give you an idea of what the future will look like. And the most important point, especially in this part of the world, is versatility. There are some people, they are very good at what they do, but if what they do dies, they die. So some people, their talent is they can use the typewriter. And when the typewriter is, extinct because innovation has moved beyond that, they don't even have the drive to develop a new skill set. Have you seen people who just lose their job, their office closed down, and that's the end of their destiny? So you have to look out for a fighting spirit, the ability to reinvent yourself. Young people need this, because even if you're a person of faith, you have to embrace the possibility that career path might not be the career path that will eventually blow. You have to embrace it. So a smart person will have plan A, plan B, plan. If you don't have plan C, plan D in Nigeria, you are a goner, sir. you are in trouble. Do you understand? So you have to be versatile. You have to have that tenacity, that fighting spirit, all right, so that you can reinvent. Because the way you're going might not eventually be the way that will prosper. You have to have the heart, the drive. Even if you need to go to school again to learn something new, you need that versatility. All right. So, well, those are my few thoughts on this. And I hope it helped you. Let me just say this as a final bonus point. There are some people who, for meat pie and sausage roll in eateries, have forgone the opportunity to date people who can give them a lot more in future. Don't be that guy. I couldn't give my wife, when we first started dating, I couldn't give her much. Do you understand? Well, things are changing now. I'm not going to give you any details, but things are changing now. So shine your eyes well. Make smarter choices. And I want to believe most of my followers are actually Jesus people. So allow the Lord lead you. Spiritual leading is a real concept when it comes to things like this. Okay. And well, I guess I want to believe this helped you. So I'm going to take 3 questions. 3 questions, and then we call it a day. Whilst I'm waiting for the questions to start rolling in, I'll just say this. Please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, you're literally the only one in your village who hasn't done so. I'm just playing. So, but please subscribe immediately. Do go a step butter. Go a step further. I think I'm tired. I want butter or water or something. I don't know what the matter is. Maybe I need to say my daughters. So anyways, so go a step further. Click the bell button just beside the subscribe button, so that whenever we're supposed to go live and for some reason we're not live at the time we said we would be, you'll be notified when we're eventually live, okay? And please like this video. Please like this video. Thank you. Okay, so question time. Has any question dropped yet? Someone said bars. Yeah, they don't know. Okay, Pastor, what would you say to a guy who refuses to date a lady because she's not as financially stable as he is? I think that's silly. Now, honestly, whether we like it or not, we all have some measure of class consciousness. I'm speaking realistically. But I just feel that there has to be more to a lady than what she has. There has to be more to a lady than what she has, especially if the person is exposed, can hold a conversation, has a brilliant mind, is hardworking. Like I said, that person can even be more prosperous than all the people you are calling financially stable in the next 5 years. So there has to be more to your choice than the present. It's very important. Very, very important. So that's what I have to say about that. Abimbola Ola Oluwafunto says, how do I handle a situation where a guy says, I'm on a high side, that his family won't want me to be ahead of him? Run away. Run away. I mean, listen, if you are not, if you are sure that you are not robbing your progress on him, your financial stability on him, and he's still insecure, the worst thing, one of the worst mistakes a woman can make is to marry an insecure man. I've heard, read the news. Some people can't handle the jealousy. They eventually they can kill you in your sleep. Don't bring a jealous man to your house or live with one. It's dangerous. Literally dangerous. All right. Marry someone who can be happy for you and all of that. I've seen people who have made great sacrifices. Let me say this. There was a time my dad had financial struggles and my mom was paying the fees. We knew, but she never let us know. We just found out somehow. And she would always come to us and say, your dad has paid your fees. Go and say thank you. And then you might consider that extreme and all of that, but she just wanted to make him feel comfortable as, the head of the family. And some people have gone through extraordinary lengths, so, if one way or the other, you're not trying to make him uncomfortable or anything, and he's still, he's still making these kind of statements now, please run away. What can someone, this is from Grace Ama, what can someone who knows they have met Mr. Potential but doesn't like them as much as they should do? If you don't like him, you can't marry every Mr. Potential. No. It has to be the one that you like. Okay? I think those are the basic rules of relationship. You have to at least like the person, want to be with the person. Potential is not the only requirement for choosing a life partner. All right? It doesn't have to only make sense here, that is in your head. It should also make sense in your heart. Final question. Okay. So Emmanuel Etim says, my girlfriend is still stuck with her ex. She knows it's a toxic relationship, but she still wants to reach out. Please, what do I do? I've been trying to help her. We should answer that another day. All right. Okay. So that's a long one, right? Oh, yeah. We're supposed to treat that next week, right? Okay. FAQs. All right. So we're going to treat that next week. But I'm very tempted to comment on that, but I won't. Anyways, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your patience. Despite all the technical difficulties, we made it, right? And I'm sure you learned a lot. If you did learn a lot, let me know now, all right? Let me know. Was this worth your time? Was this someone said 1 minute silence? I'm going to treat that. Emmanuel, let him. I'm going to. Okay. All right. Uluwadara says she learned a lot. Jay said she learned a lot. Yeah. All right. Glad this was worth your while. So, thank you a million times. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Do me a favor, share this video with 1 or 2 friends of yours. All right, I'm sure it will bless them a great deal. And we're going to communicate. We want to have a consistent time every week. So do me a favor, because someone was saying she's even glad we had this later today. So I think I'm going to have a poll on IG to yeah to ask what time works. What time works best for you? 3 p.m. or 5 p.m. So you just get ready for that and let me know, so that we can have one consistent time every single week. All right, thank you, Moyosore. All right, so next week we're having FAQs. Now, if you see my eyes raised like that, it's because Mr. Director is trying to tell me stuff. So next week, FAQs, right? And we're going to harvest the questions in my stories. So check my stories. By the way, if you're not following me on IG, your salvation is not secure. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But really, are you really sure you're gonna make heaven? Anyway, I'm just joking. But just follow me, and then watch out for my stories so that I can ask questions. I can get your questions ahead of next week. All right. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Paul Lusipo. Thank you, Dolapo Richards. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Rayo. Thank you, Fumi. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you all. Especially those of you who have been consistent week in, week out. You're already part of this YouTube family, and I do appreciate all your efforts. Zipporah, who is always telling people to like the video, I see you, and thank you. So God bless you all. Signing out now. Have a blessed evening. Bye.